New year, same E. Welcome back to the MoneyPot Channel. It is your boy Elijah back here in the flesh. Welcome to 2023. Hope that you all had a great and safe New Year's celebration and are looking forward to this year. This year is going to be extremely interesting. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we shall just see. We got some Morse code here on the screen, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to also talk about the development of central banks, digital currencies around the world, and the World Economic Forum's partnerships. Got a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right into the video. The MoneyPot Channel is a library of educational content created from a biblical perspective. The content provided here on the MoneyPot is designed to improve your knowledge of world economics and events, cryptocurrency, finance, and much more. The information provided here on the MoneyPot is not considered financial advice. If you're liking the content that we are putting out here on the MoneyPot, we greatly would appreciate a like on this video as well as your subscription to the MoneyPot Channel. Let's jump right into it. We see here Bag and CC tweeting out some Morse code. Don't know what the frick this means, so I had to use the Google Translator. We see Crypto Lulu reply as well. Well, if you don't know Morse code, don't worry. I got you covered. We see here the window to accumulate is closing, and that's what Bag and CC put out. And Crypto Lulu just put out some nonsense back. But the window to accumulate is closing. What does that mean? So the window to accumulate is closing. Very interesting tweet here by Mr. Baggins. I think it could mean one or two things. I think that it could mean the window to accumulate XRP could be closing, which I firmly believe it is. It is extremely hard to find XRP right now on most exchanges. So with that being the case, I'm leaning towards that way, that XRP cannot be found and the window to accumulate your bag of XRP is coming to an end, if not already ended. Okay. Or it could mean that the window to accumulate cryptocurrency in general is coming to an end. We're seeing exchanges start to go bankrupt. We've seen FTX collapse, and we've seen many other exchanges collapse throughout 2022. So does that mean that here in 2023, we're going to start seeing a lot more cryptocurrency exchanges collapse? Or cryptocurrencies just stop being available in general? Very interesting. I do potentially see there being a decrease in the accessibility of cryptocurrencies once central bank digital currencies are introduced by a government. And I could see that very much being the case because they want you to use the central bank digital currency. And that's what we're going to talk about throughout this video. Let's jump into it. All right, so now let's get into taking a look around the gosh dang world. And what are some of the developments in the central bank digital currency space? Not only here in the United States, but also in Asia, in Europe, and other places around the world. All of the graphics that I will be showing, I'll be putting the links to them in the description below. And while you're looking at the description, please make sure you drop a like on this video. All right, so we see Cointelegraph report that Russia's largest bank issued gold-backed digital financial assets. The issuance became the second major operations of the bank with the new class of assets. Let's take a deeper dive into this article. We see here Russia's largest bank, Sberbank, I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that, reported the first issue of gold-backed digital financial assets, DFAs. The bank considers DFAs to be a great alternative to investments amid de-dollarization. De-dollarization is the move away from the United States dollar being used for payments, settlements, and trading. This is major. And this is Russia's largest bank doing this. Okay? The bank will provide up to 150,000 DFAs for potential investors to buy. The DFAs will be available to acquire July 30th, 2023. It does mention them being high risk for investors in such kind of assets, including the risk of illiquidity. Interesting. Very interesting. As we move along here in the article, we see Spurbank say, we expect the number of corporate clients on our platform to grow rapidly and plan to expand the product line of digital financial assets. This is major because many of Russia's corporate clients are actually state-owned enterprises that the Russian government owns. And we know that this war in Ukraine is causing an energy shortage in Europe. That means that these European banks, these European, energy companies are going to have to adapt to the digital financial assets that are owned by these Russian corporate clients. This is really a major development coming out of Russia with their largest bank starting to offer these digital financial assets. It's going to go to the other banks in Russia eventually. And then it's just going to trickle down to their citizens. That's how it happens. And with Russia being one of the largest oil producers and suppliers for Europe, they're going to be affected by this move, by their largest national bank starting to offer digital financial assets, especially for their corporate clients. You got to read the fine print, okay? And realize that, and this is what I realize and I believe, that Russia is the leader and the spokesperson for the BRICS conglomerate of nations. Brazil, India, China, South Africa, top economies in the world that produce a lot of goods that are used here in the United States, as well as extremely used in the European Union. And that's serious because when Russia starts making moves like this, it's going to affect Europe and then it's going to affect the United States. Let's keep it pushing and talk about what's going on in the European Union in regards to their digital euro. Are you liking this video? You like that? You like that? Well, make sure you like the video. All right, so now let's take a look and see what Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, has to say about the European Union's move towards a central bank digital currency, the digital euro. Oh, and peep where this screenshot comes from. Boom shakalaka. Let's get into this address that Miss Christine Lagarde gave in Brussels of November of 2022 on the digital euro, a common European project. And I want to take a look at the conclusion that she gave. The digital euro is more than just a Eurosystem initiative. It is a common European project. It would allow us to ensure that money and payments remain trusted, secure, and efficient in a rapidly changing digital environment. And by doing so, the digital euro would essentially serve wider public policy objectives such as strengthening Europe's strategic autonomy and economic efficiency. To realize this vision, we must all play our part, striving for the best possible alignment between policymakers, bearing in mind our respective roles and mandates, and always seeking broad support from European citizens. The timely adoption of a legal framework for the digital euro will give all stakeholders the necessary legal certainty to prepare for its possible introduction and send a strong sign of political support. I'm convinced that combining our strength and continuing to work together towards this common vision of a digital euro is the best way to manage the transition to the digital age. Very interesting. Thank you, Miss Christine Lagarde. I find this speech by Miss Lagarde very interesting and very, revealing as to where the European Union is in regards to developing this central bank digital currency. It is a huge initiative, and if you read on, go check the link below. But throughout this speech, she talks about privacy and basically how there's not going to be the ability to be anonymous in your transactions with these CBDCs. That is a major concern for a lot of individuals. And she basically says, you're not going to be able to be fully anonymous. Like how you are currently with cash, you're not going to be able to do that with the digital dollar. Very interesting to note. We're just going to have to keep it pushing. So we heard from what's going on in Russia with their largest bank. We've heard what the president of the European Central Bank has to say. Now, let's bring it home and see what's happening here in the United States. And we know that here in the United States, the Biden administration put out the Executive Order 14067 in regards to digital assets, in regards towards an initiative to start developing a central bank digital currency. and just talking about cryptocurrency and stablecoins and the whole cryptocurrency space. But let's look at some further developments. One in particular that I found that was more recent was the Digital Dollar Project. And it's a pilot being done by some of the major banks here in the United States. And it's important to note these banks, as well as some of the organizations that are involved with this Digital Dollar Project. Let's just jump into it, okay? All right, so we see the DTCC shares findings from its pilot with the Digital Dollar Project, identifying requirements for supporting a U.S. CBDC in security settlements. Now, just for your information, the DTCC is the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Please understand that everything has to happen very high level before it gets trickled down to us citizens. So the DTCC published their white paper titled Exploring Post-Trade Security Settlement with a U.S. Central Bank Digital Currency. And this was in collaboration with the Digital Dollar Project and support from Accenture. The paper outlines key findings from the pilot. The first private sector initiative to explore how tokenized securities in a wholesale CBDC could operate within the U.S. settlement infrastructure, leveraging distributed ledger technology. XRP. The pilot included participation from leading participants, including Bank of America, Citi, Nomura, Northern Trust, State Street, Ventura Financial, and Wells Fargo. Very interesting. Let's see what else they have to say. We see the DTCC's managing director, Jennifer Peeve, say this: as a potential digital alternative to cash, a U.S. CBDC should be carefully explored in consultation with key stakeholders across the public and private sectors. DTCC's pilot with DDP assessed the use of a simulated CBDC and distributed ledger technology for DVP settlement in the U.S. wholesale markets through direct engagement with market participants. The results of the pilot can help inform market participants and U.S. policymakers about the many requirements related to this new technology and currency paradigm. I agree with Jennifer here. It should be carefully explored in consultation with key stakeholders. Stakeholders should include the everyday person, though, not just special interest groups and those that are selected by U.S. policymakers and market participants. And then we see what one of the affiliated organizations has to say, Accenture. Their senior managing director and global metaverse co-lead, David Treat, has to say, Accenture is pleased to have supported DTCC and DDP in their efforts to explore the value of digital currency and tokenization in the evolution of our capital markets. And then he just gives some props to DTCC's experience and DDP's diverse community of experts. Very interesting. All right, let's jump into it, because I said that we would mention and tie in the World Economic Forum with all that's going on. It's just so interesting that the Digital Dollar Project has these individuals as their pilot banks. Bank of America, a partner of World Economic Forum. I can't make this stuff up. And then we've got Accenture, one of the partners of the World Economic Forum. And this is literally on their website. They hide it in plain sight, dadgummit. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. And then we see Citi as well being a member of the World Economic Forum. And we know that their agenda is towards the centralization of power of the government. A one world order, dadgummit. We got to see these types of things. And then we see Christine Lagarde, the president of the EU Central Bank, being a member of the Board of Trustees for the World Economic Forum. Cannot make this stuff up, and we got to stay woke, and we got to start putting these dots together. Wrapping it all up, we see all these developments across all the top economies towards their central bank digital currency. The window to accumulating digital assets is closing, or at least towards arguably the best digital asset, which is XRP. It's seriously time to start evaluating your investing strategy and realizing that it may make sense to have some cryptocurrency in your portfolio. Not financial advice, that government, but as we see these developments happening in Russia, in the European Union, and here in the United States, it is important to incorporate that into your perspective with investing, because I think that it's time to have some cryptocurrency in my portfolio. So, with that all being said, I hope that you're able to find this video informational as well as thought-provoking, because all of these affiliates that I mentioned are partners with the World Economic Forum. And go check out some of my past content on the World Economic Forum and understand what this Great Reset agenda is geared towards. It's geared towards the centralization of power of nations, a one world order. And these central bank digital currencies are going to play an important role in it. Because if you take away a people's ability to transact, you really take away their ability to be free. Like, dislike, share, subscribe, do what you do, but I appreciate you. Until next video, stay blessed, stay healthy, stay prayed up. Peace.